how to wholesale in more than 60 seconds. I figured I'd just go ahead and talk a little bit more in depth about these different steps. So our first one is we have it broken down as find it. So finding a wholesale deal is just looking for people who want to sell quickly at a discount. Typically they're a little bit distressed, and you can find these people through call, text, mail, or just by talking to people. The important part on this is understanding that these people have some sort of a problem that they are trying to solve. And our job is to find these people so we can help them solve a problem that they may not be able to solve on their own. In a lot of cases, this could be repairs. Maybe it's divorce. It could be probate, inherities, pre-foreclosure. They have an issue that they're trying to get resolved and we're there to go ahead and help. Sometimes these get creative and we have to get kind of creative with the way we negotiate as well. But that's on finding the deal. You can find these people through driving for dollars, buying lists, cold calling, a whole bunch of different ways. But that'll give you a little bit of color on finding them. The next step we have over here is signing it. Wanted some 4-letter words there to go ahead and get you keyed in on what this is, but signing it just means we're contracting the deal. So after we found this person and we've managed to negotiate a price or terms, whichever it might be, that seem useful to us as an investor or for somebody else, we can contract the deal. So we're going to sign it, and we can use different types of contracts. It doesn't matter a huge amount in a lot of cases what type of contract. Your most common one is typically going to be a 1-to-4 for here in Texas. And we're just putting the terms on paper, making sure that everybody agrees to it, then we're going to sign it and take it over to a title company. The title company is going to go ahead and do a search on it and make sure everything looks good. They're going to go ahead and take care of people's money because they're an escrow, disinterested third party, and we're going to try to get it close. Then we move on to our next step. Our next step is going to be flipping it. Now in this case, what we're talking about is flipping a contract. It's not flipping the property. Flipping the contract just means that we're looking for somebody who also agrees that this property, this contract, is a good deal. They like the price, they like the terms, they're willing to take on the project. And they're willing to go ahead and pay the difference on that contract to us, typically as an assignment fee, though there's a couple of different ways you can close it. So when we're doing this, we are looking for people in the same way as a buyer as when we were for sellers. Typically it's investors, but it can be retail style buyers. Somebody who thinks that this project could be something good for them to live in or maybe make money on as a rental, a flip, maybe an Airbnb. There's a possibility they could be repurposing it for something else that we're unaware of, but whatever reason it is, they seem to think that this is a good project. At this point, we're going to go ahead and agree to terms again with them, put them under contract, and take it to the title company to make sure they can close too. Maybe it's an assignment, maybe it's a double close. There's multiple different ways to do it. Our final step is fund it. So this is where it gets a little bit more fun. Now we make sure that we coordinate with the sellers and the buyers and make sure that we can get to them to the closing table and sign documents so that we can close the project, close the file. Typically, they aren't going to show up at the same time. It's a little bit of a balancing act to make sure everybody closes on the same day, typically. But the end result is we get seller side and buyer side both closed, and then we collect a paycheck afterwards. And we are paid for the value that we have brought to the buyer and the problem that we have solved for the seller. It tends to be directly proportional, also in proportion to the size of the property, which is the end value that we can bring to that buyer. That is how to wholesale in more than 60 seconds.